Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I don't think I need these right now. Would you take your hand, either hand, doesn't matter, whichever is your dominant or your non-dominant, doesn't matter, and place it on your heart. And just for a moment, feel the beating. Close your eyes if you want. You don't have to. Mine's beating a little fast because it's sermon time. And take a breath and see how that changes the beating of your heart. You can let your hand fall. That is your lev. In Hebrew, that is your lev, your heart. And in our Torah portion this week, we read something quite beautiful. A verse that says, Uvelev chol chacham lev, natati chochma. Into the heart of each wise heart, I put wisdom. Into the heart of each wise heart, I put wisdom. As I was thinking about this verse, and I was thinking about what could that mean? If it's already a wise heart, why's God got to put wisdom into it? And in fact, Rav Kook, the first chief rabbi of the state of Israel, a mystic, says, why did God put wisdom into the heart of the wise ones? Wouldn't it have been better to put wisdom into the foolish hearts? Right? The ones that needed the wisdom? Why already put wisdom into the hearts of the ones who are wise? And this is said in the context of our Torah portion that it is Bitzalel, that it is the creative one, the artist, who is going to, into his heart, which is already wise, receive wisdom. And I didn't really think about it before I looked out at the congregation today, and I could point to the people who I happen to know cherish their hearts in a very physical way, because their hearts were not always guaranteed to continue beating in the way that they do now. And so we learn from this verse, from Torah, that heart has both a real, tangible, physical quality to it. It is this place. It is the place you can feel when you put your hand on your chest and leave it there long enough to feel the beating. But it is also a center of wisdom that can grow and expand, or it can shrink, and it can die. And so, in this verse, God chooses a place which is not a foregone conclusion, to place God's wisdom. Your heart might be a chacham lev, a wise heart, and it might not be. It might be a heart that will continue to beat for 90 or 100 years, or it might not be. Your heart might be a place where you know a connection to something much greater than yourself, what we might call wisdom. Or it might not be. But this verse says that if you want your place, to your heart, to be a place that knows wisdom, if you want your heart to be a place of growth, of life, then it has to start with being a place of wisdom, a place of growth, a place of life. And if it is that, this verse tells us that God will place into it more of that. I think we know in our lives that what we practice is what we become. If we practice wisdom, even if we don't start out all that wise, we become more wise. If we practice creativity, we become more creative. If we practice growing, we grow more. And the opposite is true as well. If we practice a smallness of heart, a meanness of heart, then it is likely that we will become smaller, more mean. If we practice a foolishness of heart, pretty good shot, we will become more foolish. So tonight, as we pause in the practicing to consider, what should we practice? We can place our hands on our hearts and feel that place that we ought to practice in. A place of wisdom, a place of growth, a place of creativity, a place of possibility. Uvelev kol chacham lev, into the heart of every wise heart, natati chokhmah, I will place more wisdom. Shabbat shalom.